Hey everyone, so long time no video, but today I'm finally going to be storing away all the cards I've accumulated over the last 6 months for all the groups I collect except ATs, because I have so many cards for them. I think I'm just going to make a dedicated ATs video, but for this video I still have this entire container full of cards. Not gonna lie, over the last 6 months or so I've kind of been out of my K-pop era just because, I don't know, life got busy, different life changes, but throughout all that time I've still been collecting. I still enjoy collecting, and as you can see, all of this is built up. But I think I'm definitely getting back more into K-pop now. It's not like I ever wasn't, but I mostly would just listen to comebacks really late and I don't really follow content much anymore. I honestly feel like I've been keeping up with comebacks because I still collect. Even though I'm like kind of detached, I still want to keep up with my collections. Like, I'm just aware albums are happening because I know I need to collect them. But for a lot of the groups I still collect, the albums go into Target, and since I can get the instant gratification of just going on release day and getting the albums, it's cut back on my international buying, which I feel like is a reason these collections are still going. For example, TXT and enhypen. At one point I was on the verge of dropping both collections, but since they're in Target, it's so easy for me to get them, so it's made it more enjoyable for me to collect them since I don't have to pre-order anything because I don't collect pops for either group. But yeah, with that long intro out of the way, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So for the first group of this video, I'm gonna be starting my zb1 collection. It's kind of funny to say starting because I've had all these cards basically since they debuted, because I did pre-order the album and had been keeping up with all their pre-debut stuff, now just putting away their debut album when they already have had a second comeback, but better late than never. So for zb1, I'm going to be collecting Hao, Hanbin, Tae, and Gyubin. Lord knows why I decided to collect 4 members of a group that's not an ult when I don't even collect this many members for actual ult groups. But I honestly figured I'd just go for it, and I see everyone collecting a ton of members for this group, so we all get the desire. So my bias in zb1 is between Hanbin and Tae. Originally, my bias line while watching the show went Hao and then Tae and then Hanbin, but now I think it's like this. I think they're kind of reversed, and then Gyubin is just my 4th bias, but my top 2 are definitely these 2 right now. So I made all these fillers when I didn't have all the cards on hand, but now I have all of them, so these kind of a waste. But anyway, since I'm collecting 4 members, they fit perfectly in a 4-pocket binder. And since I've laid this out, I'm actually debating making spreads with these, because originally I was going to clear sleeve these cards, but since they're currently not right now, I think I might just do spreads. So starting here, I have all of the youth versions. And I figured it would be nice to lay them out like this since the versions match each other. So here is the first spread. And for this group, I decided to put Hao first since he's oldest. It really just depends on groups if I want to put the leader or the oldest first. Also, I feel like I just kind of associate him as being first because of all the content they put out before the leader was announced, and that was just the age order. But yeah, here is the youth version. And then next up, the shade version, which is by far my favorite. My favorite card per member is this one, this one, this one, and this one. Honestly, their debut cards were so nice, but I do actually like the melting point ones more. But this was super easy to collect because they were really easy to buy sets on Mercari Japan, although Hao was definitely the most expensive by far. Then have the digipack cards, and I don't think I'm going to do every page in this binder as a spread, just the ones that fit. And here's these 4. And for zb1, I don't really plan to collect pobs, but I'll probably collect one top 4 set every era. And for this one, I have the Make Star Panda cards because I pre-ordered my albums from Make Star. And these were definitely my favorite of the era. I love that these 2 have a darker background to match and these 2 have the lighter background to match. The superior pob set of the era. So I'm so glad I got those. And then lastly for right now, I have my top 2 for the with Mew lucky draws. I just hate that these are plastic because they're sliding out of the sleeves, so I'll fix this later. I would have collected top 4 for these, but House was just so expensive, I didn't want to buy it. So I'm happy with these two. But yeah, that is currently what I have right now. And then all these other pages are for the FanCon trading cards, which I decided to collect all 4 for those because they were really cheap to buy. And then more pages set up for Melting Point. I don't have that many of those cards on hand right now because they're all in my next buy order. But speaking of Melting Point, I don't dislike Crush, but the noise chorus is definitely my least favorite part of the whole song. And someone tell me why they chose Crush as the title track when Melting Point, the title of the album, is on the same album. Melting Point, the track, is without a doubt my favorite song on the album, and 100% should have been the title track, in my opinion. I feel like with Crush, you either hate the noise or you don't mind it, but I feel like it's kind of a popular opinion to dislike the changing concept, but that's just where I stand. Anyway, definitely excited to finish collecting that album though, because I like the cards a lot more, but I'm just waiting for them to get cheaper on Mercari right now. Also, I'm definitely going to find something to put on this page since the first cards in this binder are a spread. I would get their CGV cards from Boys Planet, but also Hal is just too expensive. And I would be more willing if he was my first bias still, but since he's not my first bias anymore, that's like too painful to spend the money on. But yeah, that's zb1, and I put them in this new white composition binder. Next up is wjsn, where I'm actually completing this entire collection. With this collection, I've also had all of these on hand for forever. But here we go. So the first card is Yeonjung's Would You Please card, the yellow back. Now this set is complete. And then I have the last two, and so Would You Stay cards that I have honestly been missing for like 2 years at this point. But first we have the purple back one. And then also the orange back. These two sets are so nice. Then next up, Yeonjung for the summer. I have the green back one. And for this era, I did 2 pinks and then 1 green and 1 blue. And for my WJSN collection, it's complete for what I wanted to collect because I don't collect every single card for them. Then moving on to As You Wish. I'm going to move this unit card because I have the Yeonjung blue back that finishes this set. Then moving on to Neverland, which all of the selfie cards I wanted were already complete. But I finally have this last unit for Dawan. Funnily enough, these are the 2 members that left Starship. But finally have their unit. And then the last, and so a natural card. Now, a natural is finally complete. And then since I finished album cards, I decided to collect a few pobs for the eras that I didn't have any for, since I've started using Pokemarket, and their cards are insanely cheap on there, as opposed to Mercari Japan. So the first 2 cards I have are the other 2 members of my top 4 for K-Town For You. So just reorganize this page, but now I have Sola and so. And that set is complete. And then moving Dawan onto the next page, I also have the Sola equivalent of the Unnatural Starship Square, which I found this on Pokemarket for maybe like $8. This historically has been on buy for like $100. So I could not believe that Sola was this cheap. So I just had to get so many of her pobs on Pokemarket. Yeah, then moving on to WJSN the Black, I finally have a bunch of pobs for Sola and Enso, literally all thanks to Pokemarket. So I have these 2, which are Starship Square, and then I think this one is also a Starship Square, and this one is some other company, but I'm not sure which one it is. but I cannot be more happy to have these because the black is my favorite thing WJSN have ever released. Also, what got me into them in general. I've definitely wanted POBs for this era for the entire time I've been collecting them. But yeah, with those cards, I believe that is everything for this binder. It is all the way complete now because all of sequence was already done. And now every single album card and unit and POB that I wanted is done. This binder is also bursting at the seams. And nothing else is going to fit in here. So I'm really glad that I've completed this whole collection. But moving on, I have a few cards for their non-album binder. Starting out, I have cards for one of their Ujung fan kits. Not actually sure which one this is. I think it might be 3rd or 4th, but I'm not sure. But I have all 4 of them now. I originally had Dawan, but since then I've got the other 3 members. And this page, so pretty. They're so cozy looking, and I love the color blue they're wearing. And then next up, I have Dawan and Unso's Starship Square POBs from last year's Season's Greeting. Actually, I think this was from 2 years ago. But I loved this concept. This is definitely my favorite Season's Greetings they've ever released. And those are all the cards I currently have on hand, but I have a few more coming in my next PokeMarket haul. But for now, this is probably the end of my WJSN collection because I don't really know if they're ever going to do full group stuff again. I think they actually just announced their next year's Season's Greeting, which is kind of wild to me because I don't think I thought they were actually going to do full group stuff anymore. But I don't know if I'll collect that because I'm kind of leaning off the merch purchases for like all groups, and also my bias Dawn isn't a part of it, so I feel like it'd be kind of weird to just collect my other 3 members. But I'm glad they're still doing stuff together, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing all the pictures for it. But with that, that is my WJSN collection complete. Next up is CIX, where I have this pretty big stack. Majority of this is all of their most recent comeback, but a few of the cards are from the older eras. So going in chronological order, I have 2 POBs from Chapter 3. One of these 2 is DMC music, and one of them is Joan music. Also, just wanted to say the biggest shout out to PokeMarket because this collection would not exist without them. I would say CIX is my favorite group to buy on there because cards are like $4 for POBs, and on Buy they're 3 times the price and also just not available. But basically in the CIX collecting space, there's everything you could ever want on PokeMarket. Moving on to Wave Era. I have these 4. I think this one is G Market. This one is Dear My Muse, and then one of these is Make Star and one of them is something else. But I'm going to do some reorganizing. So I'm going to remove this card and put this matching Sailor one here. Now this whole page is the same concept. And then these 2 match, these 2 match. And then on the next page, these 2 are a pair, and then these 2 are a pair. And there we go. Yeah, this era by far has the most satisfying pages because the album cards each have a pair, and then all of these POBs match too. So yeah, that is Wave Era. Then next up for 458, I just have this 1 POB. Just gonna go here, which I think is like a Soundwave card, but not positive. And then all the rest of this is for the most recent comeback. So I currently have all of this, and then I have 2 more POBs on the way as well. But starting out, this first page is for the album cards. Which I think go like this, but not positive. But for some reason, I'm pretty sure these aren't a part of the same set. But here's these 4. And then all the rest of this is POBs. The POBs this era were out of control. I have no clue how many they had, but I'd guess it was like 50. But in terms of the actual photo cards, they did really good this era because hardly any of them look the same. And then after these ones, all of these are completely unique from each other in the album cards. So I truly needed all of these. This first page will be the few cards I have that look similar to the album cards. And I don't have a clue what any of these pobs are because there are so many. And then I think this one is a Who's Fan Lucky Draw. And I actually have one more card in this outfit on the way that I like more than this one, so I'm probably going to replace that one on this page and then move this one to the next page eventually. After that, all these cards are all unique. Okay, so I sort of made some layouts with these. I didn't really plan this out before this video because I rarely collect pops like this for a single member, so I didn't really think about how I wanted to lay these out. These 5 right here are my 5 favorites, but this one matches this card right here, so I'm going to put these 4 as the first page. Then these 2 are pretty similar because he's sitting in the same angle. And I actually have OT5 of a few of these sets, which I might store away eventually. Like, I have OT5 of this one, and also this Lucky Draw set. Then the 4th page. And then last one on this page. And I have 2 more on the way, which will fill up these spots, and then I'll probably get one last pob, and that will be this whole era complete. But it was so easy to buy all these. They were so cheap and so easy to get on Pokemarket. Here is a flip through, so the album cards, and then pobs that have matching pairs, then all of the rest. And yeah, my favorite are these 4 plus this one. Honestly, all of these pages are amazing because that's why I decided to collect them. Yeah, those are all of the CIX cards I had. Alright, this next group will only take a second, but I have 4 cards for Stray Kids. I don't really collect Stray Kids much anymore, but I definitely impulsively just bought a copy of 5-Star while at Target one day, and these were my pulls. So one of the cards I have is Mino's member version pre-order benefit or something like that. And then I have 2 of his album cards. And then also Hyunjin's equivalent close-up card. And these are my favorite too. And yeah, that's it for Stray Kids. Okay, so since the last clip, it's been like a week, but in that time, I got both a Billlie and Pokemarket package, so way more cards have accumulated. But now moving on to Cravity. And I have a really big stack for them. So first, I have the last 2 units to finish the Masterpiece units. So Serum and Wubin, and Serum and Jungmo. And Masterpiece units complete. Then I have the last set of pobs for my top 3 to finish this page. This was one of the many rounds of Soundwave. Probably like 6 or 7. And here's this page complete, and the last pops for that era I was collecting. Then I have a ton of merch cards. So this whole page is for all of the Sea Crew cards that came with the second round of Sea Crew dolls they released. So I have everyone for 3 different sets. This first set is for the mini Sea Crew, and this one was the flat doll, and then this one was for the summer ones. I actually bought the dolls for the first 2 sets, but for the summer ones, I just bought the photo cards separately. And the summer dolls have the best photo card backs I've ever seen. Low-key, half of the reason I wanted these cards in the first place. And there's that page. Then I have 1 set of cards for Groovy Japan. Not sure which shop this was, but I at least wanted 1 set of cards from their Japanese debut, and these ones were by far my favorite set. And then next up for this page are the Starship Square cards that went with their Dear My Lovity DVD. These cards were honestly insanely hard to get, but I persevered and managed to get all 3. The hoodies they're wearing are the most adorable thing ever. And yeah, that is it for this page. And then all the rest of these pages are for their most recent comeback. First, the unit page. This is actually the first Cravity era ever that I haven't pre-ordered my albums. I literally bought every single card here from Pokemarket, where units and selfie cards are $1 each. Each one of these was only $2 after the fee. Greatest place to buy Cravity ever. I have all 9 already. So down this diagonal will be the version 3, these will be the version 2, and then these ones are the version 1s. This is literally the fastest I have ever completed their units. Also, this is the first era where my top 2 have been in my favorite concept. So what a slay. Because every era, I swear the Serum and Jungmo unit is like my least favorite concept. So these are the Pacer, Catcher, and Seeker. And Seeker is by far my favorite concept. And then for the 9th unit, I decided to collect Minnie and Taeyang since it was in this version. Then this page is for all of the regular album cards. This era had more album cards than humanly imaginable, but I decided to only collect the regular album cards and then any of the cards in the Seeker version as opposed to everything else that was going on, because it was really just overwhelming and I just didn't want to collect all of it. So that would include all of the concept cards, the digipack, and then all of the PLVE versions except the Seeker version. And this right here is the Seeker version, so I've pretty much tried to collect everything in this concept. Here's the first set of album cards. And then for this page, the last 3 Cravity cards I have are their PLVE Seeker version. They're gonna go right here. Right here is going to be the Seeker Knight cards where they're holding the magnifying glass. And right here, I wanted to get the Seeker Knight Starship Square, so this whole page would be the same concept. But honestly, I think those are kind of impossible to get right now. And then this page, I'm just going to collect 3 sets of Pobs, because I wanted to tell myself I wasn't going to collect Pobs this era, but they're honestly all just so great. So just going to dial it back to 1 page. Yeah, that is everything I had for Cravity. These unit cards are so satisfying. And then a bunch of merch cards. This binder is so full. I am stressed, but I don't want to put it in a bigger binder because I don't like binders bigger than 1.5 inches, so yeah. And circling back to WJSN, I have 3 more cards for this binder. So I have 2 more merch cards for this back random page. So the first one is Unso's equivalent to this Sola from one of their secret box merch releases, I think. And then lastly, I have this Dawan Starship Square Pob. from one of their Season's Greetings a couple years ago. And it works well because this is also a pop from a Season's Greetings. But yeah, that is all the wjsn. And then lastly, a group I never add to anymore, but I have one IVE card, or all the way on this page. So I don't really collect IVE anymore, but this is like my favorite ESO card ever in existence, and I just needed this. So I got it off Pokemarket for really cheap, and it's gonna fill this page perfectly. And this whole mini album was great. Either way, it's probably my favorite IVE song of the whole year. Next up, TXT, where I've actually reorganized this entire binder. The way I used to have this binder was pretty much Taeyeon's full collection, but then extra cards of the other 4 members just to complete pages. But since this binder was full and I didn't want to start another binder, I took out every single card that wasn't Taeyeon and just condensed all of his stuff down. So this is what it looks like now. So Dream Chapter Star, Magic Eternity, big cards, and then Magic Eternity. This is Blue Hour, and then the target card, Freeze, target card, the Star Seekers card from Freeze and Fighter Escape, then Thursday's Child, and I put his target card on the back. Then these are the lenties and little postcard for Thursday's Child, and then here's Temptation, so main cards, the jewel case card, and then right here I have his 2 Weavers cards. I've never collected his Weavers cards before, but I decided I actually want to have a complete Taeyeon collection, so I decided to get these. Also, this pink hair was my favorite hair color on him ever, so the more the merrier. And here's these 2. And then I don't have a spot for it, but I do have this one Weavers Pob for Temptation. I never ever collect Pobs for him, but this is like my favorite concept, so might as well. And it was like $1 or something on Pokemarket, so I'm just gonna put it right there. Then moving on to Freefall, I have the majority of his cards. So here's first one. So I have one of the 2 reality versions, and then I have both of his Melancholy cards, my favorite concept. And then I have both of his Clarity cards. Then on the bottom, I have his Gravity card. And I'll probably try to get a Pob in this same concept to fill the last spot. And then for this page, I just recently bought his whole Weaver set, and that will be the last of this era. Collecting this era was pretty easy for me because I bought a set of albums and honestly had really good luck pulling him. And I actually wasn't lazy this era and did a little bit of trading. But yeah, this was a really good TXT era to me. Chasing That Feeling is one of their best titles ever. I hear a lot of people don't like that style for them, but vibe of that song is one of my favorite genres of music. It's pretty laid back, but in the way that I love. So I thought Chasing That Feeling was such a good title track. I liked it way more than Sugar Rush Ride, which I feel like is a unpopular opinion. Chasing That Feeling, much more my style of music than Sugar Rush Ride was. So I thought this was an amazing comeback for them. And yeah, that's all the cards I had in my newly laid out TXT binder. Circling back to CIX, I have the last 2 Pobs I was waiting on for this era. And they are these 2. I'm gonna remove this card, put this one here, and then just stick these cards both on the back. This card doesn't really match here, but I don't really have any other outside cards for this page. And just gotta get one more Pob for right here, and this era will be complete. Back to ZB1, I have a huge stack for them now. Still haven't figured out something to put here, but I'll come up with that eventually. I feel like I need to figure out something better to do with these pages since there's a lot of white space, since I decided to do some spreads and some non-spreads, but this binder's still a work in progress. But starting out, I have all of the cards from their FanCon. So I have 5 of the 6 cards per member, all of them except the Polaroids, because I didn't really like those cards, so not fussed if I don't store them. First off, I'm going to do the hollows. And then on the bottom of this page, the heart cards. These two are my least favorites, so I figured I'd just put them together. And then this spread for the camera cards and the mirror selfies. These two are definitely my favorite 2 sets. And I love everything about this FanCon photo card set. All the greens and the props. They just have the nicest aesthetic and they all match so well. Here's this spread. Then the cherry cards I'm gonna put up here. And then for the bottom of this page, I figured I'd put their first membership cards since they have a matching vibe to them, since most of these are outside. I love this set of cards so much. This card is kind of derpy, but I still love it. But yeah, I thought those would work really well on the bottom here. And then moving on, the rest of the cards I have are all for Melting Point. So I think for Melting Point, I'm only going to collect my top 2 for the regular album cards, but for the digipacks, I'm doing top 4 since they were super easy to get. I actually had really good luck with these digipack cards. So I bought my top 3's actual digipack, and then out of my 6 pulls, 3 of them were my top 3. And then I just had to buy Cuban set and then the last 3 of these. My favorite set is the bottom set. Even though I don't really love the Crush music video or concept, I love these outfits. So I'm glad they have some cards in this outfit. I pulled this one and both of these 2, and I just had to buy the other 3 and then these ones. And then for the album cards, I actually bought both of their entire sets from Billlie, but the enhypen set will be in the next package. But since then, I bought a couple albums from local K-pop stores. I actually pulled 3 of his 6 cards, so yeah. Now I'm just gonna have dupes all these, because who knew I was gonna have this good of enhypen luck. So my favorite concept is this one, but my favorite photo cards come from the 3rd version. This card right here is so god tier. He really did that. And yeah, this version, by far, the best photo cards. But yeah, these 2 and then this one will be coming from Billlie. Then this page, I have 2 pobs. Wasn't planning on collecting these, but the K-pop store I bought my albums from was selling these for $2 each, so couldn't pass that up. I think these are like Apple Music, and there we go. Everything for Melting Point that I currently have on hand, plus their fan kit cards and all of the FanCon cards. And yeah, I think I'll end up figuring out something with this since I decided to double side a lot of that other stuff. But I also just remembered for the back of this binder, I literally don't collect JN anymore, but I managed to pull this card completely unintentionally. So he's just gonna go right here. I just decided to buy a copy of Golden Age at Target because I really liked how each member had their own concept and set in the huge photo book, and I was literally buying the album just for the album. I didn't care who I pulled because like 1 in 20 chances, but actually pulled Jaehyun. My Jaehyun luck never fails to astound me. Also, I don't think I ever showed this on camera. I actually made a whole video putting this collection into an A5 binder, and then I never posted the video. So now I'm just realizing this is all new. But yeah, this is how I did it. So these are the first 2 albums he had cards for. Then Empathy, Regular, Irregular, Regulate. This is a merch card that honestly just fell right in this time frame, and it fills up this page perfectly. Then Superhuman, Neozone, The Final Round, Resonance Part 1, Resonance Part 2, Sticker, Favorite, Universe, and now Golden Age. And then all the other members' cards that I had, I downsized into these pages right here. And yeah, that is now my NCT collection. I honestly did this in an effort to put every single non-main collection into an A5 binder because I didn't want to have as many big binders. So pretty much anything that was in an A4 binder, I tried putting into 4-pocket layouts. That is my NCT collection. Honestly, I don't know why I don't just get rid of this because I don't really care about this collection that much or really stand NCT anymore. But I don't know, I have sentimental attachment to this collection and it's pretty much complete. Well, not from current era, but like the rest is complete. So yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna hold on to this forever. I don't really know why. But now that it's in this small layout, it doesn't bother me as much. That is this binder. zb1 and NCT at the back. And next up, cards for enhypen. So at some point during me contemplating what I wanted to collect and how I wanted to go about it, I decided I actually wanted to collect all of Sunwoo's album cards just to have a complete collection. Kind of like how with Taeyeon, I would say I probably had 98% of them, but there was a few cards here and there that I just never got because it didn't work with the layouts. But now I've decided I want to collect all of them. I was only missing a few here and there, but the first ones I have for this page are cards from both Manifesto Day 1 and Dark Blood. So first up at the top, I'm gonna put his 2 Weavers cards from Manifesto Day 1. I've actually had these cards since then, so I probably had these for a year and a half at this point, but finally putting them away. The reason I never put them away before is because I didn't collect them for Heesung, and at the time I didn't really know if I was going to keep collecting enhypen or really what was going on, but now I figured out a layout for all these cards and they finally get to be put away. Then I also have this Weavers Hollow from Manifesto, and then for this bottom corner I have the 2 Weavers cards from Dark Blood. Absolutely love these cards so much. They were both probably my favorite 2 concepts of the era. And then lastly, I have this stunning, stellar, spectacular, phenomenal pub. I actually don't know which one this is. I think it might be Into You, but this is literally the best pub of all time in my favorite outfit, as you can see. So he is going to go right there. And then this page works really well because this corner is all Manifesto, which goes right after that era. And then it leads into Dark Blood, which goes right here. And then the rest of the cards I have are all for Orange Blood, which just chef's kiss. What a phenomenal comeback. Sweet Venom is such a good title. I like it a lot more than Bite Me. And this whole mini album is one of their best. And my favorite song on the album is Still Monster. And I'm pretty sure that's a popular opinion. I think that's like everyone else's favorite song. But yeah, that song is just so good. But I love this whole album. It is literally amazing. And this is how I've decided to set this up. So these are the 3 regular album cards. I know there's a 4th one, but I don't have it at the moment. And for now, I'm fine with this. And then these 2 cards are from his engine version. And then that's the little Polaroid sticker that it came with. And then these 3 spots are going to be for the Weavers cards. These 2 are the ones that are holding the flowers, like the matching ones. And then this is the one where he's holding the lollipop, and it will match perfectly with this one. But for now, these are the 6 cards I have on hand, and I'm so excited for this page to come together because it's just going to be so nice and matching. And these cards are just stunning. Outside cards are absolutely goated, and they also remind me so much of their Border Day 1 cards. And honestly, enhypen do a lot of outside cards, like Border Day 1, and then this version from Dilemma, and then these are outside. And then so are these 2 Weavers cards. But yeah, enhypen just have superior cards, especially when they're outside. But yeah, these are the 2 pages of enhypen cards I had for today. Alright, and for the last part of this video, I have a pretty big stack of miscellaneous girl group cards. So, as of lately, my go-to thing has been buying random girl group cards on Pokemarket for like $2 each, because usually I'm just trying to get to 40 photo cards, but this method is like the perfect way for me to get the girl group cards I would otherwise really want but not want to buy on somewhere like Billlie or Instagram, because the prices for some cards are just unmatched. But yeah, I have set up this miscellaneous girl group binder with all the groups that just used to randomly be in other binders. But first we're going to start with some twice cards I have. So the first 5 cards I have are these 5 from Jihyo's solo. And as a casual twice listener for a couple years, I have been waiting and waiting for Jihyo to have a solo because she has my favorite singing voice in Twice, and she's actually my bias, despite me having all these pages of Sana and Dahyun. Like, Jihyo is actually my first bias in Twice, so I had been looking forward to a solo from her for so long, and this whole album was phenomenal. It's honestly probably one of my favorite albums of the whole year. The whole vibe of the album was so my style of music. It didn't really sound like K-pop at all, and it was honestly the exact direction I wanted for music from her. My favorite song in the album is definitely Nightmare. I don't know, the vibe of that song just speaks to me. And then I also love the song Room, but honestly, I love the whole entire album. The features are great, and the title track is just so good. But yeah, I have these 4 album cards, which I got so long ago. Alright, and here are the 4 album cards. These cards are so nice. This is probably my favorite one. I feel like this card is really underrated. And then I also have the Target card. And yep, that's Jihyo solo. Then moving back up to the front, I've decided to put all of the girl groups in this binder by debut date because I just casually stand all these groups and I couldn't think of a better way to do them. But the first card I have is this mini card from I Love. Back when I was attempting to collect this album in full, this was always my favorite concept for her, and at the time I never ended up getting any of her cards, so I decided to finally get one. Also, I decided not to collect their English album Heat because it didn't really have a photo book, so I thought it was like weird packaging. But can I just say, I was actually in Las Vegas when I heard that album for the first time, and let's just say I was shook beyond belief the first time I ever heard Eyes Roll Back. Yeah, just, they really did that. That song is insane. Next group in here is stayc. So I have a few non-album cards. The first 2 are Aiza's Stay in Chicago photo cards. I've always loved these sets, and these were super cheap. This one was like $1, so had to get this. And I love that in both of these PCs she's wearing a hat, like the Moschino beanie and this crocheted bucket hat. These cards are just so god tier. And then also I have this unit from Teen Fresh of Aiza and Seiyan. And those are the cards for this page. Pretty much in this binder, all these groups are tied for like my 3rd favorite group. It rotates so often. That's why I feel like I can't commit to any of these collections fully. But there's stayc. And then next up, I have this one Chaeyoung card from Purple Kiss. This is actually one of their cards from their Festa tour, which I just went to about a month ago. I went to the stop in Nashville, and the concert was phenomenal. They are such great performers. They have one of the best girl group discographies to me, like absolutely nothing misses, and they even performed all of their title tracks in English, which I thought was crazy. And also, they did unit stages, which I didn't really know about because I didn't look up the set list before going because I wanted to be surprised, but I was so shocked when they did unit stages, which those are honestly probably some of my favorite stages of the night. Then next up, I have a bunch of cards for Billlie. I don't really listen to their music or know much about them, but I kind of just have loved these photo cards for ever, and I really just wanted them because certain girl group cards just hit harder than anything else. So I have like 8 cards from the Collective Soul and Unconscious Chapter 1 because I've always loved the aesthetic of these cards. I think they're so nice. I have Xiun's entire set and then 2 Suwa cards and 2 Suyeon cards to match the sets. These 2 cards and then the rest of the OT7 set is one of my favorite girl group photo card sets ever. And I watch a ton of Billlie collectors, and I've really just always wanted some of these cards. So I thought, might as well just go for it. At this point in my collections, I really am just trying to collect what makes me happy. So therefore, this binder is existing. Then for this page, I have 3 cards of Xiun from Chapter 3. So I have these 2. The hoodie set is the best set. And then I have her doppelganger card. Then next up I have 2 nmixx cards. So I casually listen to nmixx. Some of their music is kind of jarring to me, but of the songs that hit, they really hit. And my bias is Lily, because her voice is just so stunning. So I have this one card from Expergo, because this look, I mean, hello. And then also I have this other selfie from Midsummer nmixx Dream. One day I was in Target and I just had to pick up a copy of this album because the CD plate in this, if you know what that looks like, you know, it is so crazy how they made it look like that. It's like a clear CD with like flowers and butterflies within the plastic. I don't know. And then it's also a mini CD at the same time. Also, the actual photo book inside is such a stunning photo shoot. I just had to pick up one of those. Next up, I have a bunch of cards for lsfm. The thing with lsfm and me is I feel like they have the potential to be one of my top girl groups, but for some reason I just don't like any of their title tracks. Like Fearless, Anti-Fragile, and Unforgiven, I really don't like any of those, but their B-sides are phenomenal. That's why I love their music and listen to them pretty frequently, is because their B-sides are so much more superior to me. And in lsfm, Yoonjin is definitely my bias, and honestly, she could totally be a female ult if I paid even just 10% more attention to them. With that, I have these 6 photo cards. So in the first 2, I have 1 card from 2 of the versions. And then on this page, it's going to be the cowboy hat version. So I have 2 of the Target cards and then the 2 album cards. I know these aren't in age order. Same with the Billlie cards. I just want them in this order because I like putting my bias in the first column. Again, this cowgirl concept is definitely my fave. And then last up for this binder and for this video, I have this Minji set. Honestly, I don't really listen to NewJeans or know much about them, but I bought this for the bag because I actually really wanted that bag. So yeah, got this in Target at some point. I would say Minji is my favorite visual in the group, so I just got her set for the heck of it. Also, her bag was the white one, and I wanted the white one, so it all worked out for me. This one is my least favorite, so I'm just going to put it on the bag. And with that, those are all of the photo cards I had for this video, and all the groups except ATs I had been collecting for the last 6 months. And it was honestly overwhelming how many cards I had sitting around, and I am just screaming and crying that all these finally got put away. And my next video will definitely be storing away all the ATs photo cards because I probably have 150 to 200 cards of them alone. And since my last storing photo cards video, they have had 2 comebacks. So yikes. But that video will be next. And yeah, since I haven't made a video in forever, please chat with me in the comments. I don't know, comment down below your favorite releases of this last quarter of the year. I kind of touched on all of mine throughout this video, but I'll also put them on the screen right here. All of these songs right here are basically my song of the year. And also, let me know about your collecting plans and goals for 2024. Who do you want to collect? Who do you want to pick up? Who do you want to expand on? Just anything collecting-wise. One of my literal favorite things ever is just talking to people about their actual collections. But with that, I assume this video has been super long, so thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video.